We believe in your greatness. It's what we're built on. It's who we are. There are no limits to what you can accomplish.
Because you already have the magic. You already have the power. You already have the ability to do it. You just have to do it.
You have the key to success.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Wendy, it's good to see you. Frank, good to see you.
Good to see you.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Good evening to everyone else that is not, excuse me, not where you're at. But Wendy and Frank are both coming from Taiwan. They're joining us tonight because I was looking for two individuals that really had a unique perspective with respect to, I know that they've been attending every online Asia Pacific leadership school and convention that we've had. And at the same time, of course, they have been both attending the Taiwan convention and leadership school that was on site. And I really wanted to have them here to share some of those experiences. But before we get started, what I'd like to do is, if you would, Wendy, if you could give us some background information about you, a little bit about why you established an unfranchise and what owning and operating a business that you can work part-time, full-time, and basically take it with you wherever you're at, you know. So if you would just share a little bit about yourself, if you would, with everybody.
Great, thank you, Kevin. Thanks for having me on this. Good evening, everyone over there in North America. Good morning from Taiwan. I'm tuning in from Taiwan right now. My name is Wendy, and I actually am from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, but I'm currently in Taiwan right now. And I actually was first introduced to Market America 22 years ago. So I know we have a 29-year-old company. I've known this business for 22 years. No, I'm not 40 years old, but because my mother, Mei Shan, she built her own franchise business in 1999. And ever since when she started the business, she's always brought me to all of our major events. So at a young age, I was able to see the vision of this company and proof that this business really is built for the average person to be able to be successful in. So seeing all that, most people might think, you know, I would have jumped right into this and built right away. But fortunately, I think because of the environment that I grew up in, I really wanted to be entrepreneurial beyond, you know, my creativity. And I did partner up when I was 18, but I had no sense of urgency to build whatsoever. I did not have a strong why. I just knew I wanted to be part of Market America. So instead, after university, I went to chase after another passion of mine, which was event planning and wedding planning. And I actually went to Shanghai and had my own traditional business. Now, with a traditional business, it's amazing too, because I got to call the shots and I was praised by my coworkers, my clients, lots of feelings of accomplishment. But then I started to realize passions don't make much money when, you know, there were months we couldn't cover payroll. There were months that, you know, it was so bad that, you know, we had no clients whatsoever. And then when I want to take on vacations, there would be no money coming in. So I would have to plan my vacations around my clients' time instead of putting my family first. And that's when I started to realize I really needed to build something that can be sustainable more long-term, and more importantly, provide myself more living security and the future of my family. So that's when I, you know, had the opportunity to go to a world conference. At that moment, it kind of clicked to me that I really needed this business now. I needed the unfranchised business to achieve the goals that I wanted in life later down the road. And one of the things I love about our business is that you can just pick up whenever, and doing it part-time, doing it full-time. And now I've just been able to work with a lot of phenomenal individuals across the world. So I'm building in both North America and Asia Pacific. And being able to build internationally, I love the fact that it can be sort of an excuse to travel around the world as well, to be catering to the different markets, but at the same time experience the different cultures. And we have such a flexible business, right? In terms of it's all online, and the company has done such an amazing job to provide us with the resources to build in the different GMTSS areas, and still be able to stay in our business that way. So definitely learning a lot, and love the fact that we could travel with our business.
Yeah, it's great. Been, seeing Wendy. I've seen Wendy at the International Convention, World Conference, seen her in Taiwan, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong, all over. And, we kind of go way back. I have my youngest daughter's 30 years old, okay, and the company's 30 years old. And I can remember at an early age, we used to turn the kids loose at the conventions back when it was at a smaller hotel. And I remember Hannah and Wendy and Amber riding her. I mean, and everybody, all the little kids playing together. And Wendy happened to be that. And they still, to this day, they still stay in touch. And it's amazing the relationships you end up building, with people, that are doing the business with you. But Frank, what about you? Why did you establish an unfranchise, and what has this unfranchise done for you?
Well, I was born in Taiwan, and I'm an immigrant. I used to speak no English at all, and my parents gave me incredible opportunity to move to Vancouver, Canada. It's the same as just next to Wendy, and it was an amazing experience. My parents and I were very close, and like a second generation moving there. All I wanted to do was to get really good grades and make them proud. And that's what I've been doing since I was 12 years old, studying and just trying things. And hoping one day that I can, provide them with the lifestyle they want. But by the way, my parents, they're very successful entrepreneurs, and they were amazing. They sacrificed a lot for me just to get to Canada. So as I was growing up, I started, I realized I like teaching, and I like especially teaching kids. So I started working in the learning centers. Later I found out I was interested in marketing. So I did marketing campaign. And then later I found out I really, really enjoy accounting. So I did accounting as my future, main career. I pursued that career. And as I was working, and all my time, I've traded them for money. And I was earning, quite a good money at that age. And I realized, and my parents were gone. Like they moved back to Taiwan more than, before. So I was constantly on my own. So I started paying the bills because the bills would come in. So I just paid them. But as I was paying the bills off, I started to tally up the numbers, and I realized whatever I was earning was not enough, or would just be just enough to pay off the bills. And that really got me very, very, nervous, because I realized I wasn't making enough money to provide them, even to sustain the lifestyle we have, and not let alone to, elevate the lifestyle. So that thing really was in my head, in my mind, but I couldn't really put into words until I sold this business. And my mom was the first one who sold this business, and she was exposed to the product, digestive enzyme. And bear in mind, she never uses internet. And one day she came home with a bottle of the isotonics, and she said, "Frank, there's a huge internet business behind this." And I was looking at her, I was thinking, oh no, no, I gotta protect her. So I asked her more, what's it about? What do you mean? What's behind this? And you don't even use internet, and what are you talking about? And she told me the plan. Well, it wasn't by her words, she could only deliver maybe, we're looking at it now, maybe 20% of the plan, but she was really excited. So out of, the intention of protecting her, I learned more and more from the person that introduced the business to her. And I went to the meeting, and I was very skeptical. But a few months after that, I attended a major training in the World Conference and then the International Convention, and that changed my mindset forever. And I got to say, being, as an immigrant and growing up in Canada, in Taiwan, and people, my friends, they always say, oh, it's different cultures. Taiwan, Asia's culture, North America has got their own culture. And I always tell them, you're absolutely right. That's the beauty of the world. We get to travel to different places, experience different culture. But in this business, what I love about it most is we have our own culture, the own franchise culture. And this is the commonalities we have between all the UFOs. Whenever we meet with each other, different countries. I've been blessed to go to Australia, Hong Kong, Malaysia, Singapore, and United States and Canada, and meeting all different, fellow UFOs, entrepreneurs building this business. And we always, no matter where we come from, no matter how much we know each other at the first glance, but always something you talk about and get excited for. And that's the same thing whenever I see Wendy or I see Kevin, we just get excited and start talking about what's going on, the business, and that culture really, binds us all together. And so that's what I love the most. And that's why I enjoy this business so much. Oh, Kevin, you're on mute.
Kevin?
There you go. You don't have to be smart to make money in this business. Okay. But that brings me to another question. I've been doing this for 30 years. Okay. I've been an franchise owner since 1992. So I've got to see just about everybody, come into the business, watch them grow, succeed, the levels of success that they've achieved. One of the things I found, there's a common thread or a common denominator that I see in every successful unfranchised owner, and that is they never miss a major event. I mean, they just never miss the major event. You always see them. Okay, that I don't know what else they do in between, but one thing they don't do is you never see them miss a major event. I'm always amazed and proud and inspired when I see a lot of the leaders come from the US and Canada, and they go to the Hong Kong event, they go to the Taiwan event, they go to the Malaysia event, they go to Singapore's event, they go to the Australian event. But they never miss any of the big events, and it's actually unbelievable, their dedication and commitment. But what I want to ask you, to start with you, Wendy, why do you think attending the major events such as conventions, world conferences, leadership schools are so critical with respect to building a successful unfranchise? Could you, I'd like you to kind of give me, talk a little bit about that, and at the same time, I'd like you to share one or two of your most memorable experiences with respect to the international convention that's coming up here in Greensboro in 6 weeks.
Great, thanks, Kevin. Well, I had an amazing role model growing up, right? My mother, Mei Shan, is what Kevin just talked about in terms of going to all the different conventions. Ever since she started in 1999, our first convention was World Conference in 2000, and we've never stopped there. And before I was serious about building this business, she would still be traveling to all the Asia Pacific conventions and everything as well. And when I decided to build, I fortunately got to tag along with her and to go to the different markets like Singapore, Malaysia, and Hong Kong. So I guess, seeing firsthand of how it's done, it's kind of just ingrained in me. To me, it's like, why do we go to school, right? We go to school, we just know to go 12 years of, elementary, junior high, high school, and then maybe go to university. It's just what we know. For me, what I know is when it comes to February, we go to Miami. When it comes to August, we go home to Greensboro, North Carolina. So for me, seeing that firsthand is, for someone who does not know any English, my mother, brought us to Canada for a better education, but she didn't, learn much English, but still be able to build this business when there were not that much Mandarin support back then. And it's the conventions, right? It's the trainings that we are given. And it's a system. We're here to build a leverage type of income that can pay us in the long run through our compensation plan. But while we're building that, the real system first is what the company has provided us, which is our training system, our GMTSS. That's the real system. It's a already built system that we can leverage. So what I love about this business, the fact that, we're not required to be like, oh, you can only follow this leader or this mentor, and that's it. What we get to do is get the expertise of so many different people and find people that we can relate to, the stories that we can understand and be able to then implement what they're also implementing. And I never had that in my traditional business. No way would I get experience from different types of business owners teaching me what to do, right? And so for me, you know, I grew up with this business. I definitely got the vision from these conventions, and that's why I think it helps franchise owners go forward. In business is tough. There's going to be ups and downs for sure, right? There's going to be a lot of excitement, but then also there's going to be a lot of negative things that come into our lives. And going to these conventions is number one, you can put yourself in the right environment and recharge. So for me, it's like, you know, recharging at every single convention that we go to in the different markets, and then also seeing that vision of being like, wow, you know, I can do this. You know, this is where the company is going. And like I mentioned, it's home in the sense that for me, my family is kind of spread out across the world. But for a lot of people who know, my family is in Market America, like a lot of my family members, my uncles, my aunts, everything. So when it comes to convention, it's like our big, I guess, family gathering. And it's impressive to see that we can all learn together. And then when we leave convention, we can build together. So there's so much momentum that happens those 3 days that then we're able to take off in the next 6 months. And we could do that with the whole team, right? With the whole team. And some memorable experiences, I have to say, well, you know, from back when I didn't even start the business when I was a kid, I have to say, Kevin, it was when Hannah and Amber were presenting the business plan on stage. And I remember, because I'm the same age around as Hannah and Amber, right? So I was like, I want to do that. I can do that. And then since then, when my mom would take me on her appointments around that age, I would be the one to list out what the 5 steps were. So, you know, I guess getting inspired at a young age, and then that's where, you know, the inspiration comes and you implement it, right? But, you know, I think there was not one specific moment for me, you know, as I started building this business, but more a collection of moments. And it really has to do with, I guess, the emotional side, where you cannot experience that emotional side of the convention unless you're there. It's, you know, we're going to have laughter, we're going to have fun, but then there's those moments that you tear up and you cry. And I've had so many of those over the course of me building this business and in the different markets. I basically, especially Frank, you know, we have our conventions right at a weekend after each other. So I would be crying each weekend, right? But it's just like, you know, just realizing certain different speakers say something, sometimes JR, sometimes field leaders, sometimes it's, you know, other corporate members that they say something and I'm like, wow, like, I'm so fortunate to be a part of this company. I'm so fortunate to have such a business vehicle. And it's that dawning moment, and it's not crying because I'm sad. It's like gratitude and joy, and just like feeling so grateful that I have such an amazing opportunity that I not only can benefit myself, my family, but I can touch so many people with this opportunity. And it's those moments, I think, that kind of also gets me going to keep coming back. And, you know, seeing when we launched shop.com, when we had JR cross the tightrope, and, you know, landing of the rocket, those moments, like, I'm just like tissues everywhere, because it's amazing to know that we're part of a revolution. We're really changing the world. Oh, Kevin.
I told you don't have to be smart to be able to succeed in this. But thank you very much. I mean, that was you actually got. I had a little tear in my eye. Actually, you know, when you see people grow, you know, from a very young age, it's just, and not only grow in the business, but grow as human beings. It's a price you just can't put on it. And to see all the growth and the different people that I've, you know, met over the years through Market America, shop.com worldwide. But Frank, what about you? What would you say that why attending a major event, you know, such as a convention or a leadership school is so important?
Hey, thanks, Kevin. And I just want to say, Wendy said it so well. She's right on point. And I just want to add, this is what I think, okay? There's a few questions everybody can answer in their mind, and then I definitely will help you make up your own mind of going to the event. So first question would be, would you miss your Christmas family gathering every year? Would you miss it? Would you miss the Thanksgiving dinner with your family? And for my Asian family out there, would you miss the Chinese New Year gathering? And would you miss the Moon Festival, Mid-Autumn Festival gathering every year? Right? The answer is no, because they're our family. We want to be there. And that's what I think. That's what I think about whenever I think about the major events. I don't even think about if I want to go or not. It's just my family's there. I want to go. I want to see them. So like what Wendy was saying, like our partners and our real family, everybody's there, celebrating, meeting each other, and catching up with each other. And that is the absolute truth that I found about the major events. And I go there, and the things we learn from each other, from the company, from the successful, entrepreneurs, UFOs. And it really, the biggest thing that I go to event for is I want to do things right. Because think about it, we're all programmed to be, by society to look out for us, for ourselves first. Okay, nothing wrong with that, nothing selfish about that, but we're so accustomed to that. But this business is all about helping others succeed first. Okay, and the major event, when people get together, will really get you going, really modify our behavior. I want to do this thing right, do it right, because I don't want to succeed by luck. Luck is good, right? Luck can play a factor, and luck can be a bonus. But we got to do it right so this thing can be duplicatable to others, so other people can succeed. We cannot duplicate luck. So that's what I found in the major event. We're not relying on luck. We're not really relying on just trend carrying us. We have solid way of doing things. Okay, trend can play a factor. It can be a bonus. Luck can be a bonus. But this business has the best. If they always say it, right? We have the why. This business has the how. That's why I go to major events, and you know enough. You start bonding with others, cross teams, and we just love to go. And my most memorable moments was my first one. Okay, there were two. I went to my first one, and I was just sitting there, and information was coming my way. Okay, I couldn't process it all because it's all new to me, but I was very excited because I play a lot of sports, and I growing up in Western society, how we learn to work with each other a lot, and growing academically, socially, and I really enjoy the feeling when you want to do something and other people feel the same, right? When you want to do something and your friends or your team members, everybody is like sharing the same attitude and sharing the same passion, and that really get that thing going. And I went to my first convention. I didn't understand every aspect of the business. But I realized something. I realized the people that were going on stage, they care as much as we do sitting, in our seat. And that is truly important because most company, I don't want to say most company, but it's so easy for a company to lose its passion once things are done long enough. But you will never find that in this business. Kevin is just as passionate as ever. JR, Dennis, everybody on stage, and they really genuinely do care. And that my initial thought at that first convention, now that I got to know Kevin a lot more, and that is true. He really, really cares. Everybody in this company, no matter who they are, they really, really care. And that's the one thing I love about this business. And the other thing is, during the breaks of the convention, meeting with others, you get to ask other UFOs, why do you like, what do you love about the business? Why you in it? What do you do? Is those moments clicking together, that people coming together. Those are the best part, and what really got me going and fell deeply in love with this business. So yeah. just go to the event.
Frank, I think both you and Wendy really captured two major themes here with respect to the major events. And that one is relationships. This is a relationship building business. Okay, the strength of our business, the strength of our entire enterprise, combined everybody's lines of sponsorship. It is based on the strength of our relationships, all the way down from the direct line of sponsorship, but the GMTSS, the Open Meeting Training Seminar System, each one of the international markets. It's a relationship building business, and the strength of that business is predicated upon how strong those relationships are amongst all of us. The second thing is, and you brought up, Frank, was validation. I think that is the collection, the assembly of unfranchised owners together, is where the energy, the excitement, the enthusiasm, which basically, results in belief. I mean, you demonstrating the belief that we have as individuals and that what we have as a whole. And it validates the business. It truly validates the business that it can be done. It can be done. And, I always tell people, you go to the big event because there's only one thing I really, really, truly want you to take home. If he can do it, why can't I? Why not me? Why not me? If she can do it, why not me? Okay. And that's critical. And as Wendy said, you can't get that from somebody coming home and sharing what they experienced. You have to be there to experience it yourself. Nobody can do that for you. Now I know you both have attended these major events in both formats. Okay. You've attended the 2020 Market America International Convention online. You also attended the 2021 Market America World Conference online. And you've also, many of the Asia Pacific online conventions and leadership schools. And recently, I know you both had the good fortune of experiencing the 2020 and 2021 major Taiwan events that we just had on site, in person, physically, with, in excess of 20,000 people. And it is just something you just cannot express. You can't describe. What would you say, being that both of you have attended, these major events in both formats, that being, what would you say if your teams had a choice? In other words, if they had a choice with respect to which format, they would choose to attend, what would your teams choose? What would you choose? And if you can, just share a little bit why you would choose that. Okay, and I'll start with you. Frank, I'm going to let you go first this time.
No problem. Thank you, Kevin. And I will highly, whenever we get a choice, right, I highly recommend being on site, being able to see the people, right? If we have a choice between, going to actual, like the live event compared to online, live event, being with people is always the best. Why? Because, like Kevin was saying, Kevin, Wendy, and I, we've all been through the live event the past how many ones, and the online event in Asia Pacific. And whenever I'm at an event, and same with other partners, right? And we hear something exciting, amazing. My first instinct would try to grab somebody, with something like, hey, did you hear that? But we don't get to do that in the online setting where, we're by ourselves. The comfort, the convenience is there, but the excitement is hard to build there. So like I said, if you have a choice, you definitely got to show up, because that is the best way. And like we were talking about, a validation, being with the family, be able to communicate what we talked about, and those breaks in between, people excitement will feel you. You can. It's the marathon, right? Like 2 to 3 years, like a marathon. It's a fun marathon, but you need that fuel, and being with people, being with your team members, that will fuel you. Okay, but like I said, if the choice is limited, meaning we only have the choice of an online event because of circumstances, just bear in mind, whenever you're doing something, do it as a team, right? Togetherness. So even in the online meeting, before we couldn't see each other, we're still trying to find a way, maybe link, open another meeting room on Zoom so we can talk about it. Maybe use another, like we tried everything just to feel that somebody is right next to us. So like I said, so if we have a choice, you gotta go to the actual event, because we cannot wait to see you there. And I know you feel the same. So that's what I think about these choices right here. Thank you, Kevin.
Well put, Frank. Well put. Wendy?
Well said, Frank. Yeah, I'm touching on a lot of points I want to cover as well. It's exactly what Frank said. First of all, I'm very fortunate to have experienced the 2 Taiwan conventions that were live in person this past year, right? And it just so happened last year when I came back, from Canada. I flew back to Taiwan in June. I had booked my ticket, and then Taiwan corporate announced, I think 5 days after, was just like, oh, we're having this convention. I count my quarantine days, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to be able to be there. And just thinking about it, I was super excited already. And then because having, been, I guess, locked in the house for so long, when I first stepped into that convention of seeing 20,000 people in July of last year, I was like, wow. And I grew up with this business. I believe in this business, but feeling that excitement was just like, wow, I'm in the right place. Yep, this is it. This is how it should feel, right? And it's something that you can't replace. Is just, I mean, through the September and the March, our online conventions, I try to replicate that kind of feeling on an online space, because I've always built my business in the different countries. So naturally, if I'm not there in person, I collect everybody online anyway. So I've been Zooming since I started this business 3 years ago. We've been Zooming, but I do still travel around because I understand the essence of that physicality, right? To be there in person with the team. So I'm usually traveling quite often. But during when we had the online convention, because it was the only thing we could do, the mentality was, let's make it as best as it could. So I try to take the excitement that I was able to experience in Taiwan, physical one, to be like, okay, let's do this, right? And so I had very packed days for my team of what we would normally do at a physical one. We would have meeting before meetings, we had meeting after meetings, and then at nighttime we'd have team bonding on Zoom, and we'd be crying and team bonding and everything. And so it's just like, we get a lot of bonding. And I try to do that as much as possible, even though we're on Zoom. But it definitely does not substitute when we can really be in person, because when we travel somewhere, that's a level of commitment where you're kind of bonded with that team member, that partner, or that team for a good 3-4 days. And Frank, that's probably from Asia teams traveling to North America. They're not just going to travel for 3 days for convention. So we add on, tours before and after convention to go travel. So like, for example, Miami will go on a cruise after international convention. We might go visit New York after. And that's a 2-week trip of like intense bonding with the team. You're traveling somewhere, you're bonding with people. And that's something you cannot replace whatsoever. And I love the fact, like, when we're at these physical conventions, you can network, right? I walk around the concourse just, on a break, and I can talk to 10 different other franchise owners and, kind of catch up and hear their experience. Whereas here it's like just a few heads, and then people can't talk over each other, right? So my mom has always taught me, when I was serious about this business, and I would ask her, okay, teach me, what I got to do. And she's like, I can't teach you. And I'm like, you're my mentor, you're my mother, right? How do you teach me? And she's like, nope, this is a feeling type of business. You got to experience it yourself. You got to go through the emotions so you can tell me then how you feel. And then you got to keep going, right? And then it's that same thing. It's like, you can't, experience those tears from me just coming back and be like, hey, Frank, I cried. It was amazing. It's a revolution. And you're probably just thinking, man, Wendy, what are you on? Right? But to be there in person, you feel it. And, can we do this online? Definitely, right? We can do it. We could be able to make it work. But if we had the opportunity to be like, okay, go bring the whole team and be able to go offline and enjoy that kind of bonding offline, can it be done better? Definitely. So we could do it online, but we can definitely do it better offline. And I'm just super excited to be able to get with the team again, in person and reignite all that kind of sparks that we unfortunately couldn't have this past year. So, and then also, international convention, one of the biggest things is before the gala, right? That's something you definitely can experience online. I mean, we're eating, supper, I guess, on Zoom. But I heard this time we're going to have an awesome party on Saturday as a kickoff to this whole thing in Greensboro. So, very looking forward to everybody's experiences through that and rebond together and just reunite. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Wendy. I just want to wrap this up. You just can't I cannot encourage everyone enough. If you have the opportunity, to attend the international convention in August here in Greensboro, I just can't stress enough that you need to be there in person. If you have that opportunity, you really need to seize that opportunity, make the most of it. I will tell you, actually, traveling, the ancillary expenses, the inconvenience of traveling, the inconvenience of maybe doubling up, tripling up in a hotel room to cut expenses, all the inconveniences associated, okay, with an on-site event versus an online event. I will tell you this, it's a good thing those inconveniences exist, okay? Because you know what? The energy, the excitement, the tears, the relationships, it's the inconvenience that intensifies those feelings, okay? It amplifies those feelings, and it is truly the inconvenience that you basically experience, not just as individuals, but you experience together as a team, whether you're the same line of sponsorship or not. It's something that creates an esprit de corps, and by being there, you and your team being there, there's no substitution for it. Online's great, but there is no substitution for being physically present. This event is going to be a tremendous event, like one we haven't had before. We're going to, there's going to be new products. There's going to be, a celebration, recognition. There's going to be, I just can't even go. It's going to be something. We're coming out of this pandemic, okay? And when we come out of there, it's going to be a new chapter in this business, okay? It's going to be a new chapter in this business. The people that are going, need to be attending either online if they can attend. But if you have the opportunity to be there on site, I'm just going to tell you, you're making a huge mistake if you don't get as many of your teammates there, so that you can create that bonding, that Wendy and Frank were talking about. Again, I just got to share with you, it validates the business. You cannot recreate it. You can't recreate online what you generate on site. So doing this for 30 years, it's very difficult not to become kind of jaded. I'm very passionate about the business. Everybody knows that, but I'm going to tell you, it's a struggle. It's a struggle, when you've been doing this for 3 decades, to kind of like get excited about stuff. And I'm going to tell you, going to, being at that on-site convention in Taiwan, it really, at the end, it really brought tears to my eyes to see the energy, the excitement, it was absolutely unbelievable. And we're going to recreate that same type of excitement, 6 weeks from now, in Greensboro, North Carolina. And I will just say this, for those of you you're on the fence and you're thinking, it's great. I could just sit, at home. I can watch it online. I could do this, I'm going to share something with you, and I heard Amber Yang say this one time, success isn't convenient. Okay. Being successful in this business is very inconvenient. And you have to experience inconvenient, and you have to push through those challenges that inconvenience you to be successful. And she's so true. She's so true. You've got to experience that inconvenience, because it will intensify. It will intensify the success and the fulfillment, that you experience as you, go through and hit the desired pen levels that you're looking for. But I want to thank Wendy. I want to thank Frank for this evening, taking their time out from Taiwan. I know we were exact opposite times. It's the early morning for them. It's getting late tonight for most of us. But with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Andrew Chi. Andrew, thank you very much. And I'll see everybody in Greensboro in 6 weeks. I will be there.